Becoming interconnected. Yo, what's going on? It's someone that's no one, and welcome to the second report for Thanksgiving. This is coming from Fred. When this happened, April 16th, 2016. The drug used was LSD. The dose was a tab. Prior experience, this is his fourth time tripping, and where this happened, in his apartment complex, specifically at his friend's apartment. So this is the second time we're actually going to have someone else narrate their own story, and you guys can do that too if you want. It's open, and just to let you guys know, the quality is going to be a bit different since it is being recorded by someone else, and there's a lot more, and whatnot, but it's real. We're keeping it as it is. Let Fred do his thing. So hope you guys do like it, and let's dive right into it.
Alright, so this was April 16th, 2016. It's probably fourth time I tripped. And this was LSD. It was on a piece of paper that was more or less just looked like cartoonish, and I didn't really pay attention to that. But this was my first ever experience. It really meant something to me. So, I take it, and I know usually the length that it takes to kick in, so I'm not worried about that. I remember I was just chilling and talking to my roommate. Then I went over to the room across the hall to my friend Alex's, and I was talking to him, and that's when it kind of broke, probably about a half hour to 45 minutes in. And as I was talking to him, I felt this weird energy vibrating off of my body. It felt like the butterflies you get in your stomach, but it was like around my body. And I was still normally talking, I was still normally functioning. I just felt like I was kind of jitterish, like I maybe had taken a stimulant. So I got really nervous and anxious, started to, and I went outside and I smoked a cigarette by myself. And as I'm doing that, I lit the cigarette up, probably looking at about an hour at this point. I noticed my friend JP is coming towards me, and I reach out my hand like I always do to dap him up, greet him, and his hand is probably about 1/100th the size of a real hand. It is small, and then everything went sensory, it went complex from that moment on. As soon as I had that perception of his hand, everything turned on its side. I'm not talking visually, I'm talking energy-wise, I'm talking spiritual-wise. I went back up into the dorm. I was seeing flashes of colors breathing walls at me. I remember it was hard for me to even walk up the steps. So then, my friends had taken the same thing I had, probably 3 or 4 of them. And they were probably my best friends, my roommate and my friend Izzy. And I remember seeing lots of color and flashes and breathing, which was normal to me because I understood the effects. However, I do remember halfway through going back up, seeing both of them in the hallway, and then we all sat down in the room, and I could literally perceive energy as it was being transferred from person to person. Like, we didn't have to say anything or speak any words. There was complete transference of understanding. And I don't know why. It was just the most powerful experience. Like, my mind was literally wrapping itself around every second in colors and patterns and visions. But the energy made so much sense. And what was really strange was that everyone else really connected to that too. And as I noticed two objects and figures that I was not accustomed to, and I'm not necessarily talking about my friends, like my friends never did this, but other people would appear to be kind of, I don't know, deformed, maybe a little bit taller, out of structure. And I had this perception. We went to a party, we had walked there, and again we walked down the main strip of the city, and it was animated. It looked like a video game to me. However, the energy transference and the initial blast that I felt whenever I shook that guy's hand was still present throughout my body, and it was like observable energy that I could actually tell what it was. And so after that we decided to go to this party, and completely slender figures, disfigured people around me. I hear chatter, not really paying attention. The only people that I can really pay attention to are my friends, and I had to go in and find my friend who was tripping. And I pulled her out and helped her. And that was probably the worst decision of my life, was to go to that, because something with the energy or the wavelengths didn't transfer to the people at the party. Like, it was just a bad experience. It felt like dark and sinister. It just felt like we should not have been there. So again, this was like so intense. I had to keep my head down when I was walking past strangers, because they would morph and twist and be all kinds of tall and out of shape, or too in shape or very thin. But after we got back, it seemed to only really intensify, and that was because I sat in this room with ambient lighting, and there was a strobe light going off, and it was dark, and I took a lot of hits off the blunt, and I was continuously laughing and just seeing breathing from the carpet is what I remember. Patterns on the walls. Excuse me. Patterns on the walls, and more specifically, like when I looked at metallic objects, only when I looked at metallic objects would I see color flashing off of them. It was almost like a strobe light times like 1,000, like going that fast, but it appeared to come off of the metallic surfaces only, and I don't know why, but that was another part of it. And this whole night, we're probably getting into 6 hours. This has been probably 6 hours, 7 if you want to be generous. My body's tired, but my mind is relentless. It is not giving up. Like that energy that I felt at the beginning, it's still the same. So I tried drinking alcohol, and that had no effect on me whatsoever. I was still stimulated, and I was still tired physically. That was weird to describe. Like, I was tired physically, but I could not fall asleep because my mind was so rushing with these thoughts. And the only thing that ever saved me from getting out of that was my friend had Xanax, and he lost it, and he said whoever could find it got it. So I rushed and got it, and I slept after that trip from taking that. And this was 12 hours probably. In the morning after the trip, everything was perfect. Everything was glazy. Everything was not glazy, but, well, it was glazy, but it was precise. It was like I could see every drip of water on every plant, every glint off every stone on the pavement or concrete I could perceive. And this was the day after I'd woken up from about 9 hours of sleep. And I go to the dining hall area to get breakfast, which breakfast at this point was like 3 p.m. or some shit. And I had a perceptual flashback experience with my roommate when we experienced a person walking towards the drinking fountain. We both noted that the person that was walking to the drinking fountain was disfigured. and we both looked at each other in an odd fashion, but somehow we knew what we had saw was not real, and it happened to us at the same time. So it just taught me about the interconnectivity between it, and that was probably my most powerful experience from the substance to this date.